right, welcome back. Now we're moving on to pyramids, the surface area of pyramids again. So again, to be able to do this, you need to be able to draw a net of a pyramid. So a square pyramid in 3D is going to be something, again, bear with my drawings, something like that. And what's different about a pyramid and then a prism is that it only has one base and the faces are now triangles. So how I draw a net of a pyramid is I draw my base, which is a square, and then off each one of those you're going to have a triangular face. So it's going to kind of look like a star. So that's the net of a square pyramid. So I want you to pause the video and see if you can draw the net of a pentagonal pyramid and a triangular pyramid. All right, so pentagonal pyramid is going to start with its base being a pentagon, and then each face is going to have a triangle coming off of it. So there's more than one way to draw this, but this is kind of the way I find, because now what you're going to do is you're going to take all those triangles and stand them up and meet them at a point, and that's going to make your pyramid right there. Okay? Right, and the last one is a triangular pyramid, so you're going to start with your base, which is a triangle, and then off each one of those, there's a triangular face, and again, if you fold it up, you're going to make it into a pyramid. So to find the surface area of a pyramid, it's the same way you're going to find the surface area of a prism. You got to find out what each face is. So I'm going to start with my base, and the base of this looks like it's 10 by 5. So my base has an area of 50. The flat rectangle on the bottom has an area of 50. Now each face is a triangle. However, the triangles are going to be different sized since it's a rectangular prism. So the front triangle looks like it has a length or a width, my base of 10, and it says the heights of all of the triangles are 14. So this height then is 14. So to find the area of that, I'm going to do base times height divide 2. So 10 times 14 divide 2. Which gives me each triangle to be 70. So that's only counting this front one and that back one. So I have 2 of those for a total of 140. Right, now I have to look at these side ones because it's common for people to think that all 4 triangles are the same, but these side triangles right here only have a width of 5 instead of 10. So my last shape I'm going to draw still has a height of 14, but the base now is only 5. So to find the area of those, it's going to be base times height divide 2. 5 times 14 divide 2 gives me 35. And I have 2 of those. I got one on this side and one on that side. So that gives me a total of 70. So now again, to find surface area, take my rectangle base, 2 of the faces total, and 2 of my other faces, and I add them all together. So I get 50 plus 140 plus 70 for a total of 260. And again, we found an area, so we're in centimeters squared. All right. Now I want you to pause the video and see if you can find the area of, or the surface area of this pentagonal pyramid. All right, so I'm going to start with that pentagon because I'm going to have to use a little trig. The side length is 6, and I don't know my apophthegms, so I'm going to draw it in a right triangle. The angle here is 54 degrees. Okay, so I think we already did this one a little back. We did tan of 54 equals A over 3. So if I type that in, let's just double check. I think we got 2.13 or 4.13, excuse me. So our apophthegm is 4.13. So to find the area of the pentagon, I'm going to do 1/2 san. So it's going to be 1/2 times my side length 6 times my apophthegm 4.13 times the number of sides, which is 5. 0.5 times 6 times 4.13. That gives me a total area of my pentagon of 61.95, or 62 if you went around. Now I only have one base that's a pentagon on this rather than 2 for a prism. Now I got to find out the area of my other faces. Now, since this is a regular pentagon, meaning all sides are equal, all of these triangular faces are actually also equal because they all have a width of 6, because that's the length of this pentagon here. And it's also where the triangle meets. And then it says the heights of all the triangles are 10. And I have 5 triangle faces. Okay, because I need to have 5 for each one of my pentagon sides. So to find the area of that, it's 1/2 base times height, or base times height divided by 2. So it's 10 times 6 divided by 2. Ignore the 1/2 out there. So that's 60 divided 2. Each triangle has an area of 30. Remember, I have 5 of those, so I'm going to get 150 for all of the triangles. So I take all my triangular faces and my one pentagon face, add them together for a total of 150, 210.95 centimeters squared. So surface area really isn't that much different than area like we did last chapter, except now we have multiple shapes because we're taking a 3D and making it into a 2D shape. So the surface area of a cone, it's easy to figure out the pi r squared part. So that's our base here, our circular base. And I'm just going to give you the formulas video, and then in class we'll talk about where the formula comes up from. But this other part, so a cone's going to look like this, the net. That part's going to wrap around the circle. So it's really a sector of a circle here. It's not a full circle that's going to wrap around. So this part right here is actually going to be this part of the formula pi RL. And we'll talk about why that is. But for right now, I just want you to write down area of a cone, or surface area of a cone, is pi r squared, which is the circular base, plus pi RL, which is that funny looking shape here that makes the cone. Okay, and we'll talk about that more in class. So we're just going to use the formula. So I have a cone. Oh, and I should go back. The L is the lateral height, or the slanted part right here. It's not actually the height of the cone. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is find the area of the circle, which is pi r squared. So my radius of my base is 5. So it's pi 5 squared. So that's the circle piece. Then I'm going to have to find that pi RL part, which is that weird looking shape. It's that shape that makes the cone. Okay, so pi times my radius is 5, and then the lateral height of this one is 7. So I get 35 pi for that weird shape for a cone, and I'm going to show you a visual in class tomorrow, so don't worry if you can't quite see it. And again, I'm going to add those together for a total of 60 pi centimeters squared. Right, and the last formula I'm just going to give you, we'll do more examples in class, is the surface area of a sphere. It's 4 pi r squared. So if I gave you a sphere here, and I give you a radius of 2, you would just do 4 pi times 2 squared, which would be 4 pi times 4. So the total surface area of a sphere would be 16. That's 16 pi. So that's the formula I want you to write down for it. We'll talk about the cone and sphere more in class tomorrow. All right, have a nice